Hello Kamen Rider fans and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I'm taking a look at the Kamen Rider Geats MagnumBoost form FIguarts release. So this is certainly a first year for me to actually get a Rider Figuart like right when it comes out, or to actually just kind of get a Rider Figuart in general. Figuarts is a line that I know has always been a very big fan favorite ever since it was first introduced for Kamen Rider toys like 15 or so years ago. I think it actually is the 50th anniversary like this year if I'm remembering correctly. But I really don't collect these figures just because of how expensive that they are, how fragile they are, all that kind of stuff. It's just they're not usually for me. However, this got a US release. This is actually not the US release. This is the Japanese release of it, but it's getting a US release. And I like Geats a ton, and I was like, you know what, it'd be fun to kind of just pick up a Figuart for the first time of a Rider series. So I believe that this is going to be the second Figuart of Kamen Rider in my collection, following I think it was the Sakawajima version of Ichigo, which I got as a Christmas gift from my girlfriend Katie a couple of years ago. And funnily enough, so we're going to go ahead and spoil it here, but on the back, it shows Kamen Rider Buffa. He's the first premium Bandai Figuart release for the Geats line, and Buffa is Katie's favorite character in the show, so she pre-ordered Buffa, I got Geats, so I will be taking a look at Buffa on the channel when that releases, but that's not going to be my figure, that's going to be hers for her collection, so Geats is for mine. So this is kind of a first, like I said. So I did recently do a Figuarts video on the channel for 2 Kaiser, because since he's like my favorite 6 Ranger, especially since Sentai doesn't really get Figuarts all that often, so that was kind of an interesting choice there, or kind of a rare thing to try to pick up, so I wanted to get it. But here's Geats. Like I said, first time I've got a brand new Figuart for Rider, like while it was a the currently airing show or a brand new release or anything like that, and it's pretty nice. So I've had this for like 2 months, and I just haven't bothered to open it until now, so let's finally open up Figuarts Geats. So, of course, on the front here we have Geats. You have a nice window with them there. There's Geats, of course. Kamen Rider Geats MagnumBoost form. And then I think that's a little sticker just to kind of be like, hey, since this is the first, release for the new show, it's a little bit of a cheaper price compared to regular Figuarts. And this did release with the entry form of Kamen Rider Geats, because you actually do have the form swapping capabilities of this. You can just have Magnum with like a bare piece of legs, or you could just have Boost with like a bare chest. And of course, they are releasing the swappable or the like alternate version of this, where it's Boost as the chest and Magnum as the legs, along with the Fever slot pieces. That is also a premium Bandai exclusive like Buffa is, but I don't have any intention of getting that one. I really don't see myself collecting too many Figuarts because they are expensive and they're just not really my kind of figure, but I love Geats so much that I'm going to get it. And there's a couple of other stuff in Geats, like if they do any of the glare or gazer suit users or suits like that, I would absolutely get Figuarts of them. But as we've already started to dive in here, of course we have Geats on the front. On the side, there's a picture of the figure just kind of standing there. Figuarts Kamen Rider Geats MagnumBoost form. On the other side, it says the same thing, just kind of the arm from the front extending there. On the top, you have the nice logo for the Desire Grand Prix. Then on the bottom, you just get some support stuff and a picture of the figure. And then on the back, you have just a bunch of poses right there. Him with the Magnum Shooter 40X. Him turned around because you can extend the little guns on the top part of Boost or on the top part of Magnum, so you can have him standing there with the multiple guns. And then there's that advertisement once again for Buffa. So at the time of this video, I believe the only Geats Figuarts that they've officially announced for actual pre-orders are the main 4 Riders, the entry form, this one of course. I'm sure we're going to get more Geats Figuarts. I'm sure we're going to get one for like probably either Laser Boost or Boost Mark II or something like that. But let's go ahead and crack this open here and take a look at Figuarts Kamen Rider Geats. Alright, so here is Geats out of the box here, and this figure is really, really gorgeous. He doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but he comes with like everything you would expect him to come with. And for being my first like modern era Kamen Rider Figuarts to ever be in my collection, and for also being, since he's like a main rider in the current show and everything, like less than 40 bucks, this is really, really good. This is a very solid Geats figure. It's definitely an upgrade, of course it would be, from my only other Geats figure that I have in my collection, which is just his Rider Hero Series vinyl figure, which we could put right next to him. And I like this figure, especially because this is like $7, $5, something like that. And I did a whole video on this actual little vinyl figure and everything, because it's actually a pretty important thing for the Geats toy line. But this, I mean, this is really good. This is a very, 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 very good figure. I'm not going to be buying a ton more. I don't plan on getting the entry form or anything like that. But just looking at all the detail here, we'll start with the helmet. Like, you know, you have everything you expect from a figure art with the compound eyes. These are actually sharp, like actually reasonably sharp on the top of the fox ears there. So just be a little careful with that. But you get really good paintwork and detailing on all of the Magnum pieces there, all the way through. Looks really, really solid and clean. And same thing with the Boost legs, especially on the rocket boosters on Boost. Love how that turned out. You even get white paint back here behind on the boots. Love the detail with the creases and the muffler back there. Like, no detail is left unpainted, even down to the Desire Driver. Which, if I can get it to focus, I mean, this is actually a 100% like perfect recreation of the deluxe toy, down to the fact that you can revolve on if you wanted to. You can rotate the belt, and also the raised buckles are removable, so you can take both of them off of there, and we'll play around with that in a minute with the Magnum Shooter 40X. But you could take both of them off if you wanted to either have poses, or if you obviously mainly for the form changes, if you don't want him to have buckles, you can have him have the correct buckles. He does have buckle holders back there on either side, which I believe both have indents in there, but if you want to make it more show accurate, you can take the Magnum Shooter 40X, and there's a little latch there, and you can line that up to the side, maybe. There we go. So you can holster it on the buckle if you would like to, which is a very nice touch, but it is just a little tricky, so just, you know, be careful with it. You don't want to break these or anything like that, but detail wise, I'm just blown away. As to be expected with a figure art, he's a little squeaky. Kind of trying to break in all the joints and everything. The shoulder pads get out of the way very nicely. And I mean, I'm not going to do like a full articulation breakdown, but like, of course, a very nice ball joints head and everything. Like I said, the shoulder pads get out of the way nicely. You even have some nice movement back here on the little like muffler. A little bit, kind of a movement. You're not really going to get it to like necessarily stay in any kind of dynamic poses, but you can kind of try to get it out of the way a little bit. I feel like the belt rotates a lot pretty easily. And it does split apart pretty easily right there at the joints, which you kind of had to sort of do to get some of these plastic pieces off that they use for protection in the box. But obviously, that's how you're going to do the whole form changes with the entry form. If you want to give the entry form, you know, no chest with Boost legs, or vice versa, Magnum chest with no legs and stuff like that. Or, of course, if you want to make either one of the fever slot forms by getting the premium Bandai figure art, you'd be able to swap them so you have Magnum, Boost, that kind of thing. So this figure is fully designed to be able to do that, and that's all it really needs to do is just change the buckles in the belt, and then just swap at the waist there, and you're good to go. So I think that this year's gimmick really lends itself well to a figure art like this, to where it can still be a perfectly solid figure, and still have a form gimmick change in there without sacrificing the look or the detail or anything like that. And I love it. I really do like this figure quite a bit. There's a fun little feature, like I said earlier, that it can do. You just kind of have to get your nail into the sides a little bit, and you can, I thought I had it, you can pull the guns out if you want to have him have, you know, his little arm cannons there, which is a lot of fun. He doesn't use those too terribly often, but it's cool that they can do that. So there is we're just gonna have Geats sort of stand there for a second while we take a look at his other accessories. So obviously, as you saw, he comes with just some splayed open generic hands right out of the box, but he does have 6 swappable hands, so 3 pairs of swappable hands each. So for these ones, you have some more kind of splayed open, kind of like grasping hands for either side. You do get a generic fist for either hand as well, as to be expected. And then, of course, you gotta give him some Magnum Shooter holding hands, so you get 2 gun holding hands with an extended trigger finger. You don't get any kind of fox pose hands or anything like that. Those are actually some specific hands that are being included with the premium Bandai fever slot form of this. So there is an option or a way for you to get the, you know, classic Kitsune fox pose and everything that Ace does when transforming everything. For Geats, it's just not with this particular release. Of course, Geats comes with his Magnum Shooter 40X, which is painted absolutely perfectly down to the trigger and everything. Now, it almost looks like there's a hinge in there for it to become rifle mode, but I honestly don't think that it does that. I could be wrong. I just don't really want to pry at it. I suspect that the the opposite version of this on Premium Bandai probably comes with the extended at rifle mode, and I'll be putting out some pictures on screen and everything to confirm that one way or another. But there is that little feature, like I mentioned. You can take either one of the buckles, so we'll take Magnum off for the purposes of this, and there is a tiny little clip right there, and you can clip the Magnum buckle in there for the finisher, or the boost buckle, whichever one you want to. So that is a really cool feature that you can do. We'll kind of get that buckle back on there. And of course, like I said, you can do revolve-ons and everything like that, whatever you want to do. So there's so many good posing opportunities for this guy here with all of his hands and his blaster and everything. And I think if you're a fan of Kamen Rider Geats, you're really going to like this form. Alright, and with that is going to do it for my video review of the FIguarts Kamen Rider Geats Magnum Boost form. So I can highly recommend this for any fan of Kamen Rider Geats. I mean, if it's good enough to get me to buy a FIguarts right when it comes out, that's how you know it's good. I love the look of this suit, even though he's like only ever used this form only like a handful of times on the show. It's actually incredibly rare how infrequent the base form is used in this show, but it's kind of unique in that regard. But I love this. I'm not good at posing figures, but I definitely tried to kind of get some sort of pose going on here, and I think it turned out okay. My only gripes with this figure is that you can't extend that into the rifle mode, and the raised buckles do pop off the belt pretty easily, so be careful with those so you don't lose them or anything like that. But I think this captures the look of the suit absolutely perfectly, and I really like that there is that functionality if you buy the entry form and the other riders to do all the different swaps and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not going to personally dive into that completely, because that's where I'm going to get like the Soto figures and stuff for, to have that sort of representation of the gimmick in my line. But so there will be an Amazon affiliate link in the description below for both Magnum Boost and the entry form if you'd like to pick those up at the US release that we're getting, which I think either is out already or it's about to be out. It's a couple months after the US release. And also Premium Bandai is actually in the US offering some of the exclusives, so actually most of the exclusives. So I think, if I remember correctly, Tycoon and Buffa's pre-order periods have ended, but at the time of this video, you can still pre-order Nago, and also you can pre-order the Boost Magnum form if you want to get that as well, which doubles as the Fever slot form like I mentioned earlier in this video. So that's all I got with this one. Let me know down in the comments below, do you have this FIguarts? Do you collect Rider FIguarts? What do you think of Geats? Anything about that down in the comments below. I want to read it. And of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter, @LiveRangerKey, or LineFigPR, and I'll see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comics 1017, James Darty, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Bezetsky, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pyramidas, CPT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Anthony Love, Daniel Pika, and Hella Geo. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.